Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's another day at the Saxophone University. As you all know, our main aim is to help young sax players to get to the level they want to. It's not that easy to actually start something and then finish. You need a proper guidance, better basics, good information to actually get to the top. And this channel is actually created to help you get to that level you want to. So stay tuned, follow us, subscribe to the channel, and then press your notification bell to be notified anytime we release any video. Thank you so much for supporting this vision. All right, welcome to Saxophone University. On today's episode, um, okay, before we get to today's episode, I think we did a couple of sections, and then we talk about breathing, how to make your first sound, how to assemble the saxophone, how to disassemble the saxophone. And then we talked about the various parts and then types of saxophones. If you haven't seen those videos, you can check them out. Okay, so on today's episode, we are going to talk about how we want to get into playing the saxophone, and we are going to talk about the keys and then how to play certain keys. Yeah, so as you can see, I have my saxophone with me. I have my saxophone with me. And so we are going to dive into today's lesson. How to play the saxophone. Mostly I do tell people that there's no one way to doing things actually. You just need to focus on the plan you have for yourself and what you want to achieve. And then make sure you are following the standards, or probably because there's no rule actually. You can actually break whatever rule it is, but make sure you are following the standards. And so far as saxophone is concerned, you need to be technically endowed, you know, so that you can actually know what you are doing. So you have to learn certain technicalities when it comes to playing the saxophone so that it doesn't seem you are naive or confused about what you are doing. So I have very simple stuff I do tell people. The saxophone is a very broad instrument. If you are playing a tenor sax, it means you actually need a lot of air capacity to be able to, get the good sound you are looking for. Playing a soprano sax, you equally need air, but the amount of energy or the amount of techniques you might actually need to apply on a soprano or an alto sax won't be the same as a tenor sax. You need to have this in mind so that when you are starting your journey, you know how to approach the instrument. Okay, so we have about 12 keys. Okay, we have about 12 major keys. A lot of people argue on some of these things. People say we have more than 12 keys. That's fine. I believe they have other explanations to it, but so far as the major keys are concerned, we have about 12 keys. Okay, we have about 12 major keys. That's on a chromatic level. So we have your C, you have your C sharp, you have your D, you have your E flat, you have your E, you have your F, you have your F sharp, and then it goes on. Maybe that would be um, another lesson to actually focus on. Okay, so mostly I tell people, don't, people think music starts with C. Yes, a lot of people do start playing music from, let's say, the key of C major, and then it works going on. But I always say that when you are approaching a wind instrument, you need to make sure you are comfortable to work your way out. Otherwise, you you will be frustrated early enough to stop. So you have to study how the instrument works, and then what works comfortably on the instrument. And then you can take it from there gradually. So you make sure you go through all the 12 keys because it's very important to actually play in all the 12 keys. that will be another lesson to talk about. Okay, so me personally, I always tell students that you can actually start playing your instrument from the B flat. Okay, that's B flat concert keys. I have a few reasons because B flat, even though sometimes the fingering for B flat is a bit tricky, but it's easier to blow because going up and down, you don't actually need a lot of effort to be able to play the B flat. So it's easier to actually go through the B flat key. Or let's say if somebody wants to talk about the sax concept, you say the G key. Okay, the G key is easier. I call it B flat because I'm thinking of concert keys. That's with respect to other instruments like the keyboard and the guitars. Yes, that is how I view my concepts. Yeah, it makes it more easier. I always tell people I do that because it makes it easier to learn from the other musicians, okay, other instrument players like the keyboard, the guitar, the bass, and stuff. Yeah, if you are stuck to, let's say, the SAS concept, sometimes it's difficult for you to understand what the keyboard players are saying. Maybe it might not be difficult, but you might have to be transposing stuffs in your head in order to be able to achieve exactly what those guys are talking about. And since I don't want that stress, I decided to do the transposition myself from the basic points. So I stay in alignment with whatever they are saying. Yeah, it has its advantages and disadvantages. For those playing the sheet music, maybe this might not help you because you might meet a a saxophone sheet music, which is mostly written in the saxophone concept. Yeah, so we would need to do some transcriptions there too, you know. So whichever way, there's a plus and minus to everything. Yeah. So you just need to study what works for you. And then you are good to go. You get it? So like I'm saying, B flat, okay? So B flat, which is the G key on the saxophone. Okay, so that's a B flat note. That's a B flat note. We've covered briefing and all those stuff. So I believe you are abreast with what it takes to be able to make your first sound. So that's a B flat note. Okay. So we are talking about the B flat major scale. The B flat major scale actually consists of certain notes. Okay. So you have a B flat, you have a C, you have a D, you have E flat, you have F, you have G, you have A, and then you have B flat. Okay, so that's what consists of B flat major scale. Okay, B flat major scale. So you have okay, so this is what we call the B flat major scale. If you have no idea about the B flat major scale, this is what we call the B flat major scale. All right. So, as said, if you want to really achieve, a lot of technical stuff with your instrument, you need to practice with a metronome. Okay, you need to practice with a metronome. This way, you can be able to tell whether you are in time or not. I always tell people that you are a human being, you are not a machine. So, whichever way you might be lacking somewhere, you might actually be speeding up or slowing down somewhere. You can never tell. The only way to actually, get the right foundation or get a good time is to work with a metronome. It's rather unfortunate my metronome is not here. Don't worry, it will show up in some previous lessons. Okay, yes, but you need to work with a metronome. I will also show you guys how to work with a metronome